In the previous tutorial, I showed you that it's a good idea to open the media that you're going to add to your montage, and now I'm going to show you why that shortcut is important. So I'm going to load the audio files into my montage, and the first thing I'm going to do on this first mono track is right or control click on the track itself, and then choose Insert Audio Files. And if the audio file that you want to use is not open already, then you'll probably have to go to the Browse feature and search for it. But if you load them ahead of time, then you can just go to the file group that you're in and then choose one of the opened files. So here's my mono file and here's my stereo file. So I want the mono file that's the voiceover for this radio ad. So when I click on that, it adds it to my montage. And before we do any editing, let's just listen to all of the audio files so that you can hear what we're working with.
This weekend, it's a hometown rivalry. It's a hometown rivalry.
And I'm just going to make it so that we don't have to listen to all this blank space.
Between the running Utes. Between the running Utes and the BYU Cougars. Don't miss it. This weekend.
So you can hear that this is a voiceover for a radio ad about a game, and what I'm going to do is rearrange some of these components and string them all together to remove all of the breaths so that we get a very, very short, concise read on the vocal. Now let me show you a few techniques that you can use to do such a thing. What I need to do first is remove this blank area, so I'm going to click and drag on the time ruler to zoom in here a little bit. And one method I could use to split this track up is to use the split command. So if I move my cursor right here and type S on my computer keyboard, it's going to split that audio file into two separate clips. So it's important to know that any audio file that you add to a montage is now no longer an audio file. Instead, it's a clip, and the clip only references the original piece of media, and that's what makes it non-destructive, is because when you make cuts or any other edits on this timeline, it's going to leave the original content intact. So I'm not actually editing the exact audio file. So then I'm going to come over here, move my cursor to this point and hit S again. That's going to split that clip again, and then I can take this little chunk of data and remove it by hitting the delete key. So that removes that silence. Another way to remove the silence is to use the range select tool. You can see that right here as my pointer turns into that range select icon, and then you can click and drag between the dead air, and that will remove the range that I selected and move everything over to the left. However, if you needed to go through this entire file and do all of that, it would be quite a bit of work. So let me show you how to automate this kind of work. I'm going to hit undo a few times to get back to my original full-length file. Then I'm going to go under the process menu and choose auto split. And I'm going to do this a little bit quickly, but basically I want to split up the active clip. Then I'm going to hit the next button, and I'm going to split it at the silences. Then I'm going to define what a silence is. So the region is going to be at least 1 second long with a minimum silence of 500 milliseconds or half a second. And then I could use the automatic level detection, but what I'm going to do is define silence as any signal below 30 dB, so minus 30 dB. Then on the next window, I can choose the interval between the clips. By default, this is 1 second, but I'm going to set it to 0 seconds, and you'll see why in just a moment. And then next, I'm going to choose how the clips should be named, but I'm just going to leave the name alone. It's just going to use the default of the clip name, the original audio file name, and then it's going to add a number after it. Then I'm going to click the Finish button and watch what happens to the clip. Boom. It takes all of the blank space and removes it and then shores everything together to remove all of that silence. So if I listen to it now, we don't have any of those silent portions.
This weekend, it's a hometown rivalry. It's a hometown rivalry between the running Utes and the BYU Cougars. Don't miss it. This weekend.